if you're mid, you do have that capability. You go for a drums build, for Boots of Travel, Blink obviously because you need it, and then perhaps go for the Yules, the Atos to stop the Storm a bit more, get that extra reliable, or even not necessarily the catch to begin with, it's just so you can actually continue the stun lock in case you can't burst them down in time, you know? I'm thinking otherwise. Even against Lycan.
I'm wondering,
well.
like, do they want the Bat matchup against the Lycan, or do they want the Tide matchup against?
Sorry?
Who do they want to put against Lycan?
The Tide matchup.
And then, but
because Bat is strong, but against Lycan, but Tide also fulfills a similar role, and Bat destroys Storm in lane. Or should.
See, I would rather a Sand King Bat lane than a Sand King Tide lane.
Yes.
Because right, so it's going to be Kotl TB safe lane. Do you tri lane the TB? It just feels like every way that Geek Fam lane things, it feels. We'll see where they go, because they've got 3 cores that can play all 3 lanes, right? Now we saw Raven play mid previous game, he can play safe lane. We had Skem playing the position 3 with Mushi playing 2 from the side lanes. I'm just going to wait and see. I just want to see what they're doing. Where's Bat?
Well, the counters.
So it is Bat mid against Storm.
Yeah.
So they'll have Tide Sand King against the Lycan of Baden.
Boom!
Jesus Christ. Well, they're gonna go for the smoke gank in the beginning. That's... You're saying that they do that if they feel threatened by the team, so, you know, they're scared of TNC to some degree, but that's a low to high ground smoke gank, so not what you're trying to do. Unfortunately. Geek Fam, I was going to say, the Titanier is good against the Lycan just simply because the typical counters to Lycan in lane tend to be those that can reduce his attack damage so he can't properly last it. The Underlord comes to mind as one of the hardest counters to Lycan as well, because he has enough regen most of the time to be able to withstand whatever you send at him. So I do find the Titanier to be a pretty decent matchup against the Lycan here. And then you can just try to crush the Storm. It's a bit difficult though, because Geek Fam will have to crush the Storm very hard early on, and then proceed to use the Batrider to get a lot of kills, so that Storm cannot have too much of an impact when he finally comes online.
The battle begins.
That play hard's play here is very questionable. Him completely alone trying to steal the bounty rune. Luckily, he is playing Kotl, so he is quite fast, and Baden will have to follow through. They're both on horses though. One's undead, one's not, and it seems like the living one is just slightly faster.
Speedy old geezer.
Well, they do have a fissure coming out soon though from the Earthshaker.
I'm a Baden. I've got a 4.5 second massive damage nuke. Can you just stop clicking it on the Kotl?
What?
A Baden shouldn't have missed coil.
Why are you so mad?
Because it's broken, dude.
I think Misco is a perfectly balanced spell. You don't think 120
okay?
damage every 5 seconds.
Skem's not okay here, by the way.
Oh no, Skem is not okay. Anchor Smash helps him a lot though. As Salve still needs to get into the trees.
Broken.
I think it's perfectly balanced.
Stupid. He has used 7 missed coils. He took Kotl to half HP and he has killed the Tide Hunter. Do not tell me this is balanced.
I don't see the problem with that. I think every hero should be able to do that.
Rah! God damn it.
It's not like the ability can heal or anything, right? It can only damage, and it damages you too. So
and it can't deny yourself to
exactly
experience and gold from your enemies.
It's not that OP. Okay, that's a really good fissure again. And more missed coils. The wolf block, is it coming out? These are very odd wolves. He's one more missed coil. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. The wolves are giving vision.
That's so stupid!
Bye.
It's so stupid! I can't. Like, so they're actually tri-laning into the Tide. So Tide has the matchup against the Lycan, but the Abaddon is just absolutely... There's no word to describe what he's doing here. He is coiling, he is mystic, he is bloody annoying. Kotl's given up on the bottom lane. He's gone into mid, where Batrider 6-1 against the 7-1 Storm. But once Mushi hits level 4, Storm has to be very careful with his positioning, obviously. And Firefly are going to be able to rip him to shreds. And top lane, we're looking okay for the Nature's Prophet. Cuckoo up here. One is lonesome.
So, And Nature's Prophet versus Terrorblade, I don't think is that bad of a matchup that you need to actually try lane to help the Terrorblade survive this lane. You could just send your supports bottom and help the Tidehunter actually have the impact he was hoping to have, which is the point of the pick, right? In this lane and just let him have to recover with Ancients.
So do you remember at the end of the draft where I was like, I've got no idea what Geek Fam are gonna lane and how do they do this and how do they make it work? Well, apparently my confusion was pretty well founded because nothing's working for them. This bottom lane definitely isn't. Tidehunter now 0-2. Cottle, of course, give away 1 kill down there as well, but it's Lycan for Gabby completely free farming, 13-8. Bruising towards his Helm of the Dominator.
It is scary because it's the exact position that Lycan wants to be in. And you picked a counter for him. I mean, I just... You picked a hero to counter him and you're doing the exact opposite because you can't really reliably use the counter in this lane. And yes, you're guaranteeing some of the farm of your Terrorblade, but Lycan's still out farming him, and for sure, the Lycan is a hero that comes online much sooner than a Terrorblade. So you're going to have TNC proposing much sooner than Geek Fam, and if they're able to just use the Lycan efficiently, I mean, it's only a Lycan, it's a Lycan with an NP, right? So they have the pushing power of the gods. They don't need anything else. Storm could get completely crushed. It doesn't matter. He can recover in the jungle. It's okay. And he's actually doing quite fine for himself. With more last hits in the Batrider right now.
He has just used all of his 1 charges though, holding on to 20 and pops them all to refill his mana pool. Not sure I'm a massive fan of that. It gives the Batrider a window now to maybe look for a kill opportunity. Mushi should be pushing the issue pretty hard. Difficult to walk through the remnants and the overload damage though. A bit of a struggle for the Bat. And this is why I thought maybe you put the Tide against the Batrider, against the Storm Spirit, sorry, and have the Bat against the Lycan, because Batrider doesn't do massively well against the Storm, whereas I think Tide does slightly better. But it's just awkward all around. Sanking inside that Sandstorm under a sentry, feeling things getting awkward himself. AU and Tim's putting the pressure on pretty hard. Mid lane, they do go for the play. Storm Spirit dived upon by the Firefly and the Napalm. Stacks, Mushi looks for the kill, looks like he'll get it. And no return from the Earthshaker, even with that TP rotation.
He played that quite well there. If you noticed, he was going near the cliff as he was trying to kill the Mushi in the end to make sure he had an escape route when he left. Well played there by Mushi. Unfortunately, it just doesn't matter that much if your Lycan gets farmed. You know, the Batrider is good in the lane against him, but he's not that great after the lane, really, against the Lycan. He can obviously lasso him, but Lycan can also kill you with his units. So you have to be a bit careful if you shapeshifted. And it's going to be up to TNC to be able to stabilize these lanes. And
TNC do give up 4 bounty runes though. Well, I say 4. They give up 3 bounty runes. Tim's very nicely denies one of them with his illusion up top. But I feel TNC should have the bounty runes on lockdown. They make a play onto Mushi. Storm unable to capture the kill. Shield and a heal from AU. They turn onto Mushi. Now they grab him. And Cuckoo's arrival nearly looks for Zephyr, but 4 heroes from TNC make up the numbers pretty quickly.
yeah, that was definitely a win for TNC, who's able to rotate much quicker than Geek Fam, and they're trying to use this ability to win those matchups. Even the rotation there by the college doesn't really mean much because he has a Chakra Magic as level 2 right now. There's only a limited level 1 that he can really do to his enemy team. Not much use here. Well, luckily, Geek Fam is able to at least get farm on the Terrorblade, so maybe it's up to Raven right now, together with the farmed up Batrider, to create that space for him. And they are already starting to go for the smoke play here with a Bat that should have lasso if you... No, actually, no, he has committed all... No, that's 5 points. Yeah, he has 1 point for lasso. Just grabs him now. Should go for Cuckoo. Start with a sticky napalm. Metamorphosis is committed, and yep, the lasso is slightly in range. They get the kill on Cuckoo, and TNC will be losing their Nature's Prophet with Geek Fam now able to push this tower down if they want to use the Metamorphosis for more.
AU's Abaddon, the Papega hero, not able to OS Frog his way to victory this time.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Poor Cuckoo.
Oh. Skem stuck in the Sprout, one of the best counters to this Tidehunter in addition to the creep block.
Body block.
The Zoo is working out, but he's taking away all of their damage to the Anchor Smash, and that means the Skem will actually be okay. Huh. So much for the chanting. They needed the Abaddon there with a miscoil.
They needed level 6 on Gabby, honestly.
No.
I mean, if he got, 2, 3 additional creeps on his own, he would have hit level 6, and that's a kill on Tide, no matter what happens.
Dire's
Fortunately, misses the mark on it. And Keeper of the Light, this is his job for the majority of the game. Sit near your tower, illuminate, and keep blasting. You'll lose your objectives slowly but surely as Zephyr's TP rotation comes in. It looks for Cuckoo. Gets the quick burrow strike, but out he goes with the TP. Cancelled by the rabbit.
He got the Lycan as well by accident.
He's got one charge as Cuckoo and another Sprout in 3 seconds. He might be able to weasel himself out of this, but Zephyr says no. Burrow strike quickly on top of him. Hello, goodbye.
Illuminate.
Cuckoo waving as he wanders on back to Fountain.
Oh, he didn't have enough mana for the last Illuminate.
Say goodnight.
Jesus. That's unfortunate. So in the end, they don't catch anyone, despite using a Ravage, committing a lot to this team fight and not getting much out of it. TNC, again, get away scot-free. And Mushi just sees the Lycan and goes, well, I don't want to fight him at all. He finally has the shapeshift as well. Probably should get a better creep. Hellbird Smasher is okay maybe for the beginning stages. But you do want the Centaur Stomp ideally.
Hellbird's really good for pushing if you've got Treants, Wolves, Necrobooks and all that stuff.
But the kills that you get, I mean, the extra damage is okay. For very early, like right now, yes, you can still use them, but soon you want to be swapping to the Centaur or even the Purge creep, the Satyr.
I think the Satyr with the Blast.
What, Hellcaller?
Yeah, whatever the hell it's.
Yeah. It's,
got him. Yeah, one of those two. Like, I think the smash from the Hellbear is pretty good.
No, it is, but like what I'm saying is it just falls off rather quickly. Same as with the Hellcaller. Like Hellcaller at least has a lower cooldown. Hellbear Smasher, especially with the Lycan, you can do much more with your crits and with a Centaur, obviously. But it doesn't really matter right now. He doesn't seem like he's looking for kills. He's looking for Necronomicon super early if he can.
Yeah. They're also giving Tims a lot of time top. 900 gold saved up. Blink Dagger is on the horizon for him. AU's been given space mid to try and crack level 6. Cuckoo gets bottom. I'm guessing he's going to go into that medallion, which we see from pretty much every Nature's Prophet, regardless of position. Has the Phase Boots and the Blightstone up. And Storm Spirit back in the pocket, Armel farming jungle. It gives room here for Geek Fam to maneuver and potentially set up some nice little plays around these tier 1s mid and top. They would ideally like to get some use out of that next Ravage in 25 seconds. Right now, Geek Fam pretty content just keeping their Terrorblade in the jungle farming himself as he works his way towards the drums. And likely with this next Metamorphosis, you know, he's level 7, about to crack 8. Top tier 1 should be falling. Ideally now.
Ideally, yeah. But these trees have been cleared, which means that TNC, they want to TP here. They should know that they're coming by. The Batrider is a very clear initiator. Lasso used, there's no TP, so this tier 1 will also fall together with Tim's. Metamorphosis has definitely been committed for that tower more than for the hero. And that is a bit of extra gold to Terrorblade's already leading in net worth. With a Lycan closely behind, hoping to get an Necronomicon to boost up that net worth as well.
Dire's top tower.
Invisibility.
Does Raven want to push any further with this meta, though? Looks like the rest of his squad is in towards that mid lane. Storm zips the castle. Good Fisher. It's a catch, play hard. Mushi and Scam unable to really do anything to mitigate that jump forward. Bottom lane getting pressured by the Prophet and the Lycan as well.
Dire's top tower.
It's like Cuckoo TP's home. Pick up any big items just yet, but he's looking for that TP out into that mid lane to maybe catch. Mushi wants that Fireflies down or even down bottom, where they do have a jump sanking inside the Sound Storm. Cuckoo has arrived down here, and it was dust that he was picking up. That's why he TP'd home, grabs the dust after TP scrolling, then teleports with his spell down bottom to find the Sand King kill. Well, they're straight in towards mid lane for the tier 1. Firefly down for 10 seconds. Shapeshift just ends, though.
Yep. And it doesn't seem like Geek Fam... No, they're looking to defend maybe with the Coddle and the Batrider. 20 seconds for that lasso, though. Even without Shapeshift, this is a bit of a difficult fight. Firefly already used. Tender comes in. The Ravage is ready. The Will-O-Wisp is used. And it is. They should be able to pick him up. Ravage used onto 2. Abaddon still doesn't have that borrowed time, which means they're going to get a double kill for free there. With a nice setup there with the Will-O-Wisp.
They lose their tower, though.
That is true.
So Lycan dying there...
No denial, right? No.
I mean, how much gold do they get from that? 1,000 gold split between, you know, the Kothel and the Batrider, sorry, getting the majority of it. experience is decent, but they lose the primary objective.
Dire's
They
middle
expend
tower is
2
under
massive
attack.
teamfight ultis that are now on cooldown for a solid
sure.
2 minutes. And this is where TNC can look to exploit. They've got Storm, they've got Prophet, they've got lots of cooldown abilities. The Echo Slam is there, and it catches a couple, but the Lasso's good from Mushi. Storm Spirit caught but saved, healed by the Abaddon. Oh, it's glorious. Titan is about to fall. Zip Zap away will keep the Storm safe for now. Keeper of the Light might not be so lucky though. There goes the pop of the shield. The mist coil lands straight at the back of his head.
He's going for the Febby build.
So now, see, now this is the thing. You consider it now, right? That full team fight where
Radiant's
Ravage
middle
and
tower
Will-O-Wisp are
is under
used.
attack.
They kill off the Lycan and the Abaddon, and they lose their tower. And then TNC come back and they kill the Kotal and Tide. So all things considered, it's like an
Radiant's
even trade,
bottom
you know,
tower
kill
is
for
under
kill
attack.
wise. But it's the tower advantage that always matters most.
It does, because the tower advantage translates to map advantage, right? And you can see this already by the ward they're putting here. TNC, I mean, this ward... Oh, again, this is going to trigger you. Look at that range of the sentry. Over here. No, not that sentry. Close spot.
Where are you looking?
Why are you not seeing my screen? I'm right next to you, man.
Oh
There it
man,
is.
that is
literally.
oof, oof, oof.
Walking the line. Anyway, this ward
That's
is...
some Roblox oofing right there.
Yeah, this is part of the tier 1, right? Like they take the tier 1 down. They're able to put this offensive ward now, and this is a good
Dire
rotational
are
ward.
scanning.
Now you see whenever GeekFam wants to go from either jungle to farm, which means you have a much higher control of the Terrorblade and his illusions, and you can more or less know what stage of farm he is at, and more importantly, you can stop him from doing so.
Where did Cuckoo get a Midas from? I clicked on
He's
him.
always had it.
He's just
He brought it in the game with us.
spawned with a Midas, you know?
Yeah.
Casual,
Casual.
like you do. Necro 2 for Gabby.
I mean, he has no other items actually, so it's not that surprising. Well, it's like 12 minutes in.
Yeah.
He has face boots and Midas. It's not that great, to be honest.
It's alright.
It is. He's going to grow in farm. I like the Midas, though, because if they do happen to put pressure on you with a Batrider, you stay strong. Not like Nature's Prophet needs too many items. And you have variability for the late game.
And you are very much playing this group up and push style with the Lycan, right? Storm Spirit is the off core. He's the core that shows on map and pushes out lanes, while the rest of you kind of farm jungle, group up, look to pressure objectives when they become open to you. So you're going to be with your Lycan the majority of the time, and Lycan will have that farm priority. So having the Midas will always keep the Nature's Prophet relevant.
Yeah, exactly. And the versatility in your builds is Nature's Prophet when you're facing GeekFam right now, which is a team that could go either way depending on the impact the Batrider or the Tide can have in the early game, is really, really useful because you don't need to really buy anything right now. You can just sail the gold for a bit and then see what you need entirely. With Lycan closing in on that Necronomicon level 3, it's going to help Gabby get some quick kills as well, and ideally take on the supports in these team fights, especially the Coddle. Now Willow's going to be difficult to deal with, but shapeshift with a couple crits, maybe you can kill him off, especially with the Storm and Kaya.
Yeah, he got level 2 Necro, immediately popped it to
Dire's
continue
bottom
farming
tower is
jungle.
under
Has
attack.
the Centaur upgrade, like you were mentioning earlier, that extra stun. Super handy against the Terrorblade in particular. For that Manta style. Primary item, quite distant for the TB due to this drums, Wraithband, incremental build up with the stats.
It's better though for team fighting, because you're still useful with Metamorphosis, so... It's just... It's a nice build here for the Terrorblade to not be completely useless in the early game. They do need him. GeekFam did not get enough with the Batrider to be able to just rely on him as your only core.
Impact equals greater than 0.
Well, yeah, though, but that's actually important when you're a TB. Or, like, you can completely go into the jungle and ignore your team, but you cannot play the 4 Protect 5 here with the TB.
Where is this smoke going?
This smoke is a blind smoke because you have no offensive wards because TNC is winning in terms of map control.
Kind of guessing that Lycan's going to be up here.
Oh, they do ward here, and they're not too wrong. They almost find Lycan. They have no blink, though, on the Batrider, which means that even though he's leading, it doesn't really matter. And now, Lycan doesn't see them. This is so... I don't know if this is amazing map awareness by Gabby or just the best of luck.
Oh, they didn't see that smoke.
No, so the counter smoke is coming in. Smoke versus smoke here. Except this time, it does seem like TNC will find someone. However, it does seem like it's going to be a Sanking. It's only a support, not a big deal. But a kill's a kill, so you might as well take advantage of the smoke. Sandstorm, maybe a kill's not a kill?
Dire's
they have the
bottom
sentry.
tower
They do have a
is under
sentry, so
attack.
try to TP. They cancel with a fissure. Sheffer will go to the graveyard.
Pressure top, though, as Batrider looks for a bit of damage onto the tier 2. Nature's Prophet there
Dire's bottom tower
to defend
is under
things up.
attack.
Full control of the Radiant jungle, though. You know, TNC make this sweeping move in to get some very, very good aggressive wards down. D-Ward, nice. There we go, with the Quelling Blade. Necro 3 up and running for the Lycan. And this is where the map starts to get cut. And this is where we start to really create this tectonic shift in where the game's going. You know, the Dire, they've taken bottom half of the map. Yeah, they got into that Radiant jungle, but the Radiant, knowing this move is happening with a double damage rune on the TV, are into the pit, and Roshan's on half HP. Big team fight is ready here for Geek Fam. The Blink Echo onto 2. Perfect from Tims, and down goes one of them. No flyback for you, but the Age is claimed up by Raven on the Terrorblade. Turn and fight as he rips Tims to shreds. Hey, you will save up the Lycan for now. They're holding. Oh, they've used the Ravage already. It's double damage. Terrorblade with Sunder in hand. Throw it back into the face of the Lycan. Epicenter. I hear it. I hear it. I see it. It's done nothing.
Yep. That Epicenter was not ideal, but they do manage to hit the Terrorblade. That was a fantastic Sunder, stopping the Lycan initiation, and you waste another Shapeshift. And early on, when you're up against a Terrorblade as Lycan, you're definitely looking to take full advantage of those Shapeshifts as much as possible. You got a really good timing for Necronomicon and a really good timing for Helm as well, and you're still unable to get the kills that you're looking for. 6-11 the score is not what you're ideally looking for. And Terrorblade managed to get the Roshan, Aegis advantage right now, and is leading that worth chart. So this game is going to Geek Fang's plan. They're managing to delay as much as possible. And the late game, their team fight's also really, really strong. Yes, TNC has an Earthshaker, but you have a Ravage and an Epicenter. And if ideally Sheffer actually hits it this time, it's a pretty powerful fight.
Yeah, once he gets that Blink, 900 gold rocket. Oh, I didn't think Mushi would actually die.
Nice visual.
Mushi and Armel had this really interesting kind of head-to-head. But as soon as TNC bring the numbers in, that quickly becomes a absolute smashing. As Mushi falls flat on his face. Tier 1 looks pretty simple here for TNC to grab. Contemplating the illuminates and the blinding lights. Holding them at bay for a little bit. Quelling Blade that. Observer Ward. Yeah, come on. Yeah, there we go.
Right. Take the Observer Ward down, but while this ward war is happening, it seems like they've shifted a bit in their positioning. Armel actually defending that bottom lane without any mana, very bad idea. And they're actually grouping on mid. Geek Fam tired of this tier 1 tower. They need this map control from tier 1 mid, who's actually been a huge thorn on their side if they want to rotate anywhere here. Oh, I don't know why they multiple lines, but that happens. That area is completely covered as tier 1. It's currently a protector standing in the way of Geek Fam's aggression, especially with a Batrider did not go for Blink Dagger. This full movement speed Batrider needs a lot of maneuverability to be able to accomplish its goals, mainly lassoing a Lycan.
Something Geek Fam do have to always keep in the back of their heads though, even with this Aegis on TB, is the ability of TNC to jump and kill a Terrorblade. Blink Echo Slam from Tims, but even just the Nyx Prophet and the Storm being able to maneuver themselves across the map at great distances and at great speed. Raven on this Terrorblade has to be very wary of his positioning and also the positioning of his Kotl and Sand King, who are his backup plans, his safety nets really.
Yep.
It will rip AU limb from limb, force the borrowed time.
Still has more emergencies.
I don't think he even needs it, honestly. Does he have Reflection up again in a second? 5 seconds? He's just going to click him. Give him the clicks.
And you're totally right. The positioning actually of the Kotl and Sand King, I think especially the Kotl, is super important to be able to guarantee this TV safety. Both the Blinding Light and the Will-O-Wisp are great abilities at stopping the potential initiation by the Earthshaker. And even the Storm to some degree, even the Lycan actually, because the blind from the Blinding Light can completely stop the Lycan in the team fight. Geek Fam just need to play around the Terrorblade right now. And they don't really need to do much else. It's a pretty simple game plan. Let this game go as far as possible. And if TNC want to contest them, they'll essentially have to use the Storm, who is actually not doing that badly. Closing in on his Bloodstone. Yeah,
Geek Fam very much is an ease of execution draft, right? It kind of plays itself. As long as you can defend the Terrorblade, he's going to do the heavy lifting. He's going to do all the hard work. You press your buttons. You cast your spells. You push your R button as tied. Good job. Well done. You go in as Mushi. You tank the spells. Good job. Well done. Sand King. He's just gonna Burrow Strike a couple of people. No big deal. But as long as they can keep Raven on his Terrorblade alive through the fights and get his Sunder off onto someone like the Lycan, things look pretty simple.
Yeah.
Especially once they start to get into BKB timings. You know, Batrider is close, right? Yeah. 1,000 gold away. Terrorblade, I'm assuming after Skadi will go for one. I feel like he needs one against Earthshaker Storm. But I may be wrong. He potentially goes like into Satanic. Satanic might not be a bad direction to go. Status resistance always super handy.
Yeah, but the BKB here might be too much of a necessity.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what Prophet goes.
Right.
Well, Prophet's going Crimson Guard, so I kind of feel like I'm leaning more towards more stats than BKB.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know if you... I guess the control for Geek Fam is not that great, and like it can outrun the Ravage.
Right, so I mean, you think about if TB gets jumped by a Blink Echo, BKB's not going to save him, right?
No.
Unless he's already cast it, which is either unlikely or like A, unlikely, or B, Earthshaker's not going to jump a BKB TB.
All right. TB being the... Okay, sorry. I thought you were referring to like it. Okay. Yeah, I can see your point.
He's got BKB queued. I mean, it's the safer option.
But otherwise you're at the mercy of the Storm, like jumping around, zipping, zapping, doing whatever he wants to you, right?
Like BKB literally allows you to stand on a tier 3 and hit it, right?
Exactly, and sometimes... I guess it depends on how late the game you want the game to go as well, right? And
So you do have a pipe on the Tidehunter.
yep.
Vlad's pipe, Solar Crest is worked on pretty quickly. Sand King has the blink. Is it smoke time? That's the big question for me. They do have one on Sand King.
But will they use it? Mushi is not nearby. TNC, though, do seem like they want to go for a smoke themselves. Nobody has a smoke. They're just grouping up and hugging it out.
Yeah, Mushi's playing the lane. The rest of his team just offset from him, but Tide nowhere nearby. He's the one sitting mid, clearing out that wave.
He did go for the XP gain, though, for this Tide, so we could be seeing a Tide transitions into that 250 damage talent and usually goes for a couple. No, I mean it. The Anchor Smash damage reduction is super solid against Lycan or Storm.
We need the 25% Abkling Zeit Reduzierung.
I'm telling you. The Amkling... I can't pronounce I wanted to play around, but I can't pronounce it. The cooldown reduction at
My
Tide...
game client's in German, by the way. Just,
Oh, yeah.
if you've just tuned in, I've been saying all of the talents and spell names in German.
Yeah, I don't speak German, so you know, it's been a journey. The cooldown reduction talent, I find, unless you get her super early, is just not that great in the Tide because the team fights become sparser and sparser as the game goes late.
It really depends on your itemization.
That's
right?
true, though.
If you do have, Refresher Orb or a Scythe of Vice, for example, that's when CDR becomes super valuable.
It's more for the items than for the actual skills that you have, because
I feel so, yeah.
25% on Ravage, it is a huge reduction, but you usually can just play around the cooldown and Ravage instead, which is much more effective. And the damage does give you a new roll, which is quite fantastic if you are lacking it. However, with the Terra Blade, you might take a different consideration. We'll see now. The smoke is ready. The smoke, but it's again low to high, and I do not want the Terra Blade to initiate this. Batrider has to start flying. Elasso's ready to catch a Storm. This is pretty important. The Fissure doesn't manage to hit the Batrider, but the Storm won't survive this, no problem. Instead going on AU, who has borrowed time. He'll heal back up to full. Batrider forced to use his BKB, and a very sloppy initiation by Geek Fam, which will result in nothing for now. Metamorphosis is forced out of the Terra Blade already. Will-O-Wisp used for the... What?
They thought he was in the trees, maybe? I'm not entirely sure what happened there. So Mushi...
They saw someone... I think they saw Lycan behind them, no?
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. That is a little bizarre for me. The exceptional initiation. That primary move from Geek Fam was very good. Scouting with the back, getting the Firefly over. Burrow Strike after the blink. Perfect. Onto the Storm. Right target, right place, right time. And then Mushi drags the Storm away from the Tide. Tide is standing there, animation cancelling Ravage, like, yo, I kind of want to Ravage here. There's 4 people around me. One of them is the Storm. We can kill him. And Mushi drags the Storm all the way out of that Ravage. Of course, he's trying to move the Storm away from the Abaddon, away from the blinking Echo slamming Earthshaker. But it was very disjointed from Geek Fam, whereas TNC were very snappy in their retreat. They knew that it is time to just absolutely hightail it out of that situation.
And then as well, when you cannot get the Storm and you decide to go, well, I guess we'll go for the Abaddon, it's also not a good initiation. Mushi though, now as the BKB is used, the damage is sufficient. Nope, he'll be able to TP away. But that's a BKB TP used just to go back to base. 9-second BKB.
And here comes the Lycan, the Nature's Prophet, the Necro Books, the Centaur War stomping bastard coming for your towers.
It's the Zoo. The Zoo's coming to get you.
And they have a catapult.
Of course they do.
They are walking up into Epicenter Ravage though, so not a high ground attempt at all possible here from the Dire side. They're hunting for a hero who just TP'd home. I believe that was the Sand King who got out.
That's why you go for the damage on the Tide, by the way, so you can deal with the Zoo in one swift anchor smash. Yeah. It's not necessarily because it's good strategy-wise, it's just very satisfying to watch. We will watch now Geek Fam, who have retreated from the top lane intelligently. And as you notice, they're actually rotating completely around whatever Raven wants to do. And it makes sense. You're playing 4 Protect 1. He did decide to go for the BKB, not for the for the Satanic. It does give you more reliability, as you were saying, in hitting the towers. And in dealing with the Storm as well. Also...
It also secures Roshan fights much nicer.
That's true. And I wouldn't be surprised if Nature's Prophet soonish goes for an Orchid, you know, at some point in this game. So BKB gives you another safe way to dispel that in case you don't have your Manta style available. And hey, if you're really good at predicting, you might be able to stop the Echo Slam. Who knows? If you have vision over the Earthshaker, especially with the Batrider Firefly, it's not crazy to think that you can predict the Echo Slam coming.
That's a possibility. What's next for Cuckoo? That's my big question. Drums, Crimson after Midas. I kind of like the idea of just going straight into like a Cypher Vice, honestly. Additional lockdown is always going to be incredibly important against this Terrorblade. Against the Tidehunter, especially now you can't dispel the Hex. Kraken Shot.
You can.
Can you?
Ooh, Hex is dispellable now.
Of course. I'm a moron.
No, man, it's okay.
That's fine.
But yeah, the Hex is still a good idea.
It's been a long morning.
It's been a very long morning. Well, long night morning.
As soon as I said it, I'm like, wait, hang on a second.
That sounds wrong.
That sounds wrong. And then I think, wait, Slug can dispel Hex with... yeah, of course Hex is dispelled.
But
it's like one of those things that for the longest time wasn't.
Yeah, I actually was very offended when they changed it. I thought it was the integrity of Hex kind of being compromised there. But, you know, Hex shouldn't be undispellable.
Good against TB. Ignore what I said about the Tidehunter. Still
it is good against the Bat as well. Like, it's a pretty... Oh, okay, there they go with the team fight. Ravage is ready, but they're going to try to pummel Cuckoo to the ground, and they do get him first. But BKB has already used the lasso, grabbing a Earthshaker that does not want to be there. The Echo Slam is not going to be completely used in time, which means Earthshaker will be dead without his ability to be used. He has to buy back immediately to try to be of some use in this team fight.
I cancelled his blink. They want to jump now. Echo's big right here, right now.
Oh,
with the no. The damage is lacking. They don't have the follow-through. Storm wasn't available. Now Zephyr's going to waltz himself away from danger through this Outstorm. Terrorblade's ready here with more illusions. He's got Manta, Wand, everything to pop with a reflection on top of it all. And TNC double buyback for absolutely sod all. Nothing, nil, nada. They might even lose more. TP out from Cuckoo will complete. Batrider couldn't catch on any additional targets, but this Terrorblade is relentless. Unstoppable force, Raven. On this Terrorblade now, 21,000 net worth, a solid 7k ahead of his counterparts, TNC.
They can now take the... They cannot take the tier 2, unfortunately, so this team fight was all for naught, really. But you are starting to measure the ability of TNC with these small fights. However, BKB for 10 seconds for Terrorblade, that's completely gone. So you don't have a really important utility, and that BKB going down on Terrorblade is actually super important. Being able to use a Metamorphosis and just decimate someone like Cuckoo, quite a big deal. A good lasso, though, I will say, by Mushi. But now you're fighting with other Ravage. Could be a time to go for Roshan. Fissure catching the Tidehunter. Nothing else happens, though. TNC, are they biding their time? What's the plan here? The Gush on the Earthshaker. They do want to fight this. A Storm from behind. Catches the Coddle. There's a silence. And they can kill the Coddle in time. No more to waste for this team fight. As Shepard in the middle of it will also lose the Epicenter. That's the initiation gone. Which means TNC can finally back away. Quite happy with the results. Lycan also shapeshifted. They have no way of actually stopping them. Instead, go for AU. Who, well, I mean, he has borrowed time, but like he killed that twice, doesn't really matter. He's only
have no catch, they have no stuns.
They have damage. It's the best of stuns, dead.
This is the thing, though, right? With Earthshaker dying back and the fact that the team fight reliance for TNC is almost 100% on this Earthshaker, Roshan just becomes an inevitability. Easy peasy. Take the Aegis and the cheese, grab it up for your TV. High ground push coming soon.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And this is all set up by that mid lane team fight.
Yeah.
The buybacks into diebacks, the expenditure from the Dire team. And now you look at the green lights popping up over on Geek Fam. Ultis are ready across the board. 5 seconds for Lasso, and that will light up in a couple of seconds itself. Whereas Dire team, yes, they've got the Echo Slam. Yes, it is level 2. But you're now staring down the barrel of a BKB TB gun.
Yeah, but you used the one team fight and it was okay effective, but they can still play around and they still have the ability to kite him with a shapeshift and with the ball lightning. And Lycan's getting close to level 20, which means the extra shapeshift duration, which is a huge power burst for him. They're playing around the cooldowns here for Geek Fam, and they're doing a really good job of it as well. So, TNC, I may have overestimated the Terrorblade. It is Raven Terrorblade, so you always have to be scared of it, but they're doing a very good job of mitigating the potential QUALIFIERS has in these team fights. And I will say that Mushi's impact has been kind of relegated by him playing quite well here. And they go for the Atos. Abaddon. Okay, the target. But again, you're just getting an Abaddon. He's the last hero you want to kill.
It's still a kill into a pivot.
You do lose the Aphotic Shield, I guess, for this next team fight, right? So that's quite big.
It's mainly just the fact that TNC can't set up around, like with one hero dead, it forces a buyback and a reactive play, right? TNC can't play front foot, they can't go for the jump. So with one hero dead, it means tier 2 and tier 3 on the high ground push. Storm, zip in, zip out, good
The
glyph.
pipe helped though.
Yeah, glyph as well, keeping Creep Wave alive.
Yeah.
This entire lane of barracks is forfeit. There is no way that TNC can defend this.
And they're trying to get the Storm trick, but the Minimal One's still off. They're going to take the time.
They've got the Storm? The Burrow barely missed. Barely.
No, that's unfortunate. But they take the Rax, so it doesn't really matter as much. They're going to be able to destroy the tier 4s. What is QUALIFIERS doing? They can't close the game just yet, but maybe they just wanted to get a cheeky tier 4. The Storm instead, ball lining all over the map like a hyperactive child.
Being pumped full of E numbers and sugar.
What's E numbers?
The chemicals they use for preservatives and coloring.
Oh,
Linked to hyperactivity disorder.
really?
But not
Dire's top
proven.
shrine is under attack.
If I...
Don't have pseudoscience in my stream, Gareth, please.
It's not pseudo.
It's not proven, it's pseudoscience.
Well, I said linked to. I didn't say causes.
Illusion.
Dire's top shrine
Fair
has
enough.
fallen.
Yes. I'm very careful with my words when it comes to these kind of
Science,
things.
yeah.
Science, yeah. So I am not a scientist.
Dire's top tower
Disclaimer.
is under attack.
Well, TNC will be, after that very interesting science aside, TNC will be losing the Abaddon for a bit, but it's not that big a deal because he'll be coming back very soon, ready for TNC to keep on doing what they've been doing, which is keeping putting pressure on these lanes and managing whatever QUALIFIERS is attempting to do. If you keep the lanes pushed, they don't really have the option yet to actually push down your towers without a terror
Dire's
play.
top tower
So I
is
feel
under
like TNC
attack.
gonna have to all in. I think,
You think
Dire's
so?
top
I
tower
guess the terror
has
plays become
fallen.
too much of a threat.
yeah, they've got to commit to something. Whether it's okay, Lycan's not. I thought Lycan sits down bottom and split pushes, but the Batrider's cleared out the way. So now it has to be an all-in on top lane team fight where they commit everything.
Okay. The Storm.
He's hunting Castle.
The Storm went a bit far. He actually got caught by a burn right now. Ooh, the BKB saved them, but they're all going for the Storm. He's low on mana, but he had enough to actually go back home.
Man, if Mushi got that lasso after the
They
run,
do find the Lycan though. And in the middle of shapeshift, they do double stuns, and they can actually destroy him in time.
is he backstabbing?
70 seconds without him.
You're a Lycan.
Oh no, Gabby, what just happened there?
Apparently he's.
They found Cuckoo as well. He was cooking. He was cooking there, and he went boom.
He did go boom.
He did go boom.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
Oh dear. Oh dear, Mr. Lycan.
Oh, the same, man.
That second lane of barracks gone. Like, this is the thing.
Oh, the cliff. Look at it.
I kind of felt like they had to. Cuckoo is cutting away mid and dying, by the way. Oh, maybe not dying. Maybe yes, dying. Definitely dying. For sure dying. He did.
Oh, Cuckoo.
So here's the problem, right? I felt that TNC should have considered pushing the bottom high ground, and maybe they did consider it, and Batrider was enough of a deterrent. Because once the Radiant reaches their high ground top, you know that you're forced into a position where you have to fight them to defend not just your top lane of barracks, but you're defending the game. You're defending the entire game from being lost off of that one move, because Terrorblade is at the point where he's destroying. Yes, he gets yes, they got the game over the rabbit. Perfect. Scam is there to save the day. The BKB TB comes out to play, and GG is cool. Geek fam. Looking good.
Let's do a last camera analysis for the peeps that came by to show off our beautiful production.